use the Force. That's not how the Force works.
Back in August, I told y'all that John Boyega has moved on from Star Wars, but that Finn, the character that he played, will continue to have stories about his adventures after the rise of Skywalker. Well, even though John Boyega has openly stated that he's retired from Star Wars, and he's been quite vocal about his issues with the sequel trilogy and the portrayal of people of color in the sequel saga, he still left the door open for a possible return to Star Wars.
I wasn't sure then, but I am now.
What's up, Acolyte Squad? My name is Prince, and I'm an urban acolyte. I woke up this morning not believing this, but John Boyega could eventually return to Star Wars to portray Finn. So there's an article being shared where people on social media are going to be quick to jump all over the stuff that confirms their issues with the sequel trilogy. So John Boyega again voices his issues with how Lucasfilm shafted all of the non-white characters that were in leading roles in the sequel trilogy, along with sidelining his character's developing arc. Now, if you somehow hadn't heard about the interview that he did with Esquire magazine, John Boyega voiced a number of concerns regarding the shift to focus the story on Rey and Kylo Ren while making Poe, Rose, Finn, and Janna, the newly introduced character in The Rise of Skywalker, all play characters who were basically on the B team. Now, I had a bunch of people who were throwing links to those articles in my face saying, "I told you so, Prince. How can you continue to defend these movies now?" And I mean, first off, I just say what I think. If you're so fragile that you can't handle me sharing my thoughts, then I'm not really sure what to say other than to ask, like, why are you following me on social media or watching these videos here on YouTube? I've openly voiced the same concerns as John Boyega. I pointed out years ago that the only people who use the Force in these movies are the white characters and aliens. I said that the movies would focus on Rey and Kylo Ren's relationship. I said the only way to properly do Finn's arc is to give him his own story, apart from that whole Reylo dyad thing that basically became the entire reason for Palpatine's actions across those 9 movies. And hey, if you were paying attention, I just told you the purpose of the Skywalker saga in that one sentence. So with all that said, it turns out that John Boyega has not shut the door on portraying Finn. In this recent interview with Yahoo News, John mentioned the First Order rebellion that Finn was going to lead in the Colin Trevorrow script for Episode 9, which was Duel of the Fates. So in that version of Episode 9, the First Order was going to capture Finn, but he, along with Rose and Poe Dameron, were going to lead a stormtrooper rebellion with Finn leading the charge. Now, I think it would have been nice to see Finn be boots on the ground, like actually doing something, and even cooler if he somehow managed to start using the Force during those battle scenes. But I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda, it didn't happen, and I personally don't like to engage in that kind of thinking. So what's important is this is just another example of John Boyega being teased with something big for his character that didn't happen on the screen. Now, some people are saying that John Boyega should shut up and be thankful for the opportunity because no one would know who he is if it weren't for Star Wars. And I've even seen those sentiments from a few of you guys in the Facebook group for this channel. I mean, like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but Star Wars doesn't make the world go round. John Boyega was going to be a big star even without Star Wars, and it just made his rise to fame even faster. And if you don't believe me, look at his circle of Black British actors that he runs with. They're in all the big blockbuster movies over the last 3 to 4 years. I'm serious. They really are. And I mean, look, J.J. Abrams made some promises that he really didn't keep. Remember how the first version of The Force Awakens was very much different? Finn was running through half the movie going ham with Anakin's lightsaber. And if you're new here, hey, check the video that I posted like 3 years ago. I'll post a link to that video in the comments. Now, JJ told John Boyega that he was going to be the face of Star Wars, and they sold us on the showdown between Finn and Kylo Ren in Act 3. And that's not all either, because JJ also told Adam Driver that the fall of Ben Solo was going to be a big part of this trilogy, meaning the character was going to get much darker, as in he wasn't probably going to have a redemption arc thrown in at the very last minute. So Adam Driver was another person who was not too thrilled about how things played out either. And I mean, I would apologize to the Ben Demption crowd, but they stopped watching me years ago after I made one of those girls cry on Twitter. Oh well. Look, let's end this on a positive note. So despite the issues that Boyega has had in his Star Wars experience dealing with toxic Star Wars fans and his character getting sidelined for some fan fiction romance that ends with the guy getting friend zoned before he dies, look, JB voiced that he is still a Star Wars fan and he loves what they're doing on The Mandalorian. Boyega goes on to say that if Lucasfilm wanted to do an animated project to continue Finn's story where he can do the voice recording from a home studio, that he would be up for coming out of retirement. Now, I thought Finn's story was going to continue in a book, as Jason Fry kind of let it slip last November that he was working on a project involving Finn. He deleted that tweet and then he took a hiatus from Twitter for a little while. Now look, I don't know if the tweet that kind of spoiled Finn's Force sensitivity in episode 9 and the Twitter break were at all related, because look, sometimes Jason takes breaks when Star Wars people start to get out of pocket and they start acting crazy on his feed. Now, I haven't heard anything else about that Finn project, but I mean, look, this is 2020. Lucasfilm hasn't really been giving us much news, and like with everything else in the entertainment industry, everything has been pushed back. I mean, right now we should have at least 2 of the High Republic books, but they aren't coming out until next year unless people manage to get press release copies. But for the rest of us, not until January. And there won't be Star Wars Celebration for what, like almost 2 years? The next one is in 2022. So I'll imagine that any big plans besides these Disney Plus shows that we already know are coming, and then the possible spin-offs that are going to be set up in the Mandalorian episodes in a few weeks out, are going to be about all that we get as far as Star Wars until Celebration 2022. So who knows, maybe the folks on the story group might decide to pick up with the Jedi made of Rey, Finn, and the other stormtroopers who defected with Janna in a few years. And it sounds like something that John Boyega would be up for doing, provided that Finn actually gets some of the spotlight and that it won't take away from John Boyega's busy schedule of projects that he already has in front of him. So yeah, I mean, after John's response of "Don't Disney Plus me" back in December during the Rise of Skywalker press tours, look, it sounds like he's more open to playing Finn on the small screen in the future. Now, personally, I would like to see a Jedi Finn because of what it would mean to the kids who wanted to see him in that role. I'm not really riding for Star Wars like when this channel first started, because my focus has shifted more to focusing on the hero's journey in geek culture, and not the whole Star Wars news, reviews, and updates and discussions and rumors and all of that, because that stuff doesn't help my business. It just helps Star Wars. So, I mean, that's a place where I totally understand where John Boyega is coming from with this whole comment about a possible return to Star Wars. Basically, he's open to coming back as Finn, but Star Wars isn't going to get the commitment from him that a big blockbuster movie of that nature requires. He wants to do other things and that's it. So it's like not even about getting the bag, because he already got that. So the man just wants y'all to show him some respect. Show his character some respect. And to the Star Wars community on YouTube, I want my damn respect too.